Hello, I'm Amy Collins. I'm coming to you today as a motherhood mentor, and I am hoping that you're all feeling healthy as well as hopefully peaceful. And if not, then let me help you feel a bit more peaceful by offering you some insight. What I do as a motherhood mentor is I help women become more calm and confident from the inside out. So, you know how our fitness trainers help us learn to be stronger in our physical core, right? They teach us exercises to strengthen our physical core. Well, I help mothers by teaching them how to use really easy, powerful tools on an everyday basis to help them strengthen their mental core so they can become healthier and stronger in who they are and therefore be healthier, stronger role models for their kids. And as we know, that positively impacts our kids because what are we doing as moms? We are raising the next generation. So let me tell you today, our topic is patience. Who feels like they need more patience, especially during this time of quarantine? Me, right? That's the overall consensus. Me. The good news is patience is actually a learnable skill. So let's start by defining what is patience, right? Patience is actually our ability to keep calm and collected under trying circumstances. I think quarantine uh, is a trying circumstance, right? Being quarantined with our families for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that can be trying. Patience is also a willing and thoughtful response that is quite difficult for us to maintain at times, right? So let's take the example we walk into the kitchen and our kids are in there and it is a mess, right? And they woke us up and we hear pots and pans banging around and we hear them talking, maybe laughing, maybe arguing. We go downstairs and we walk in and we see the kitchen is a mess. Right after we've seen whatever the situation is, or we've heard specific news, and yet before we respond, there's this moment in time where we can pause. And in that pause lies our power. And that's when we can call upon patience. Because in that moment, we can evaluate the situation and see what's happening. And instead of having a knee-jerk reaction, we can call upon patience and have a thoughtful response. Okay? Now, there are 3 specific benefits to being able to do this. And this is something we need to practice. It's not like, oh, we learn it and then we're perfect at doing it all the time, every day. That is not the case. This is a skill that we learn, and every day it ebbs and flows in how well we're able to implement it, right? It's not about perfection. It's about calling upon this tool of patience, understanding how it works, understanding the moment when it's really important for us to call upon it, right? In that moment between what we just took in and right before we respond to whatever that stimulus was, right? Now, there are 3 benefits to being able to come through with patience. The first benefit is that when we are patient, it enables us to evaluate the situation. That could be within seconds. It could be within minutes. We could ask if we can just step back and take some time to think about the situation, right? Sometimes we need to do that. But patience empowers us to take a step or a moment and evaluate the situation before responding. Another benefit, the second benefit of calling on patience is when we are patient, we actually transform our relationships. So now, when you walk into the kitchen and it's a mess because your kids are in there, our response can be very quick to be like, what is going on in here? What's with the mess? What's with the noise? I have no time to clean this up. I can't believe you kids, blah, 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 right? Because that happens. We all feel like, what is happening here? Like, it's out of our control, or it's a mess, or we're concerned about somebody being safe, right? However, when we call on patience, it transforms relationships because instead of coming out with anger and frustration, right, which are right there, we're learning to pause and think, how do I want to respond? What is happening here? Is everybody safe? Do I need to grab something hot from somebody so they're not going to get burned in this example that I'm saying about the kitchen? What's happening, right? When we can pause, we can then say in a more calm way, hey, what's going on here? And then listen to the response. Maybe your kids are trying to make you breakfast in bed because they notice how stressed you've been, right? That happened to me a long time ago when my girls were younger, right? They were actually downstairs trying to make me breakfast in bed. So, their intention could be really good. So it allows us to pause and ask calmly instead of escalating a situation and causing upset, anger and frustration and everything. We can say, what's going on? And we can have a conversation, no matter how old our kids are, right? And this has helped me over the years, whether it's kids in the kitchen baking a cake or teenagers in my driveway and I'm trying to figure out what's happening, right? So all types of situations. So patience transforms our relationships. Lastly, patience enables us when we allow ourselves to call on this tool of patience to overcome frustration. It empowers us to live more peacefully and more calmly, right? And when we're able to live in a more calm way, that helps us in every aspect of our life, right? And it helps us as we're interacting with our children, when we're working on deadlines for work professionally. It helps us in our marriage. When we can call on patience, it allows us to be calmer overall. And when we live more peaceful lives, we live healthier lives, right? Because we all know that anger and stress cause disease. When we're able, again, to tune in to patience, we live in a healthier manner as well. So I know sometimes we hear people say, oh, I'm not a patient person. Oh, I've never had patience. I'm just not patient. Again, we can learn how to be more patient. We just have to practice it, right? And now that you have this awareness as to when you can insert that sense of patience, call upon patience right in that moment, right in that pause, I like to call it. You call upon patience, then you can proceed peacefully. 4 ways that we can become more patient. Really easy. First, start with something small. Make yourself wait, right? I know it sounds crazy, but in this day and age when we live in this, instant gratification, we order something and it arrives that afternoon, or we want to lose weight and we expect the pounds to be gone tomorrow. Whatever the case may be, right? We all want that instant gratification. We need to learn to help ourselves learn how to wait, right? Learn how to pause. So my daughter has made probably 8 dozen chocolate chip cookies over quarantine. I have had to stop myself from eating 8 dozen chocolate chip cookies because believe me, I could easily do that. What I've learned to do is instead of just taking them as soon as they come out of the oven, I love when they're gooey and warm, love it, but I make myself wait. I have 1 or 2, sometimes 3, I'll admit it, with a cup of tea in the afternoon. I'll sit down and I'll really enjoy them, right? I don't just grab them as they come out and eat on the way by as I'm walking through the kitchen. I have concertedly made the effort to wait. So making yourself wait, even starting small with something like that example, right? That is a way that you can practice patience. Another way to practice patience is to stop doing things that aren't important. And you may be quick to say, well, Amy, everything I do is important. We all feel that way, right? But really think about it. When I go on social media now, I set a timer for 15 or 20 minutes because I want to get in. I want to see who I'm following. I want to learn some things from who I follow. I want to catch up with some friends. But then I don't want to just keep scrolling, right? That isn't important. And let's face it, we can all get caught doing that. We can do that and 45 minutes, an hour and a half go by easily, especially right now when we're quarantined. So recognize what isn't important and stop doing that. Watching Netflix, that's helpful, right? When we want to unwind. But binge watching might not be that important, right? We might need to just have it in a sense of moderation. Believe me, right? That also takes patience to watch or to not watch the next episode when it can start in like 5 seconds, right? In the side screen, it starts in 5 seconds. That takes patience. Make yourself wait. That's a good example too. Also, be mindful of what makes you impatient, right? So for me, I have become really aware of the fact that with my family home, it drives me nuts to be interrupted all the time, right? So what I look to do is I make sure everybody's in a good spot and I tell them, now I am going into my office to do some work for the next hour or so. I'm going to have a sign up there. Please do not interrupt me. You can talk to me afterwards. And if it is an emergency and someone is like bleeding, then obviously interrupt me. But otherwise, mom needs some time. So be really aware of what causes you to feel impatient and then set up some type of healthy parameter around that and adjust, okay? Lastly, you know what else can help us feel more patient or become more patient? Really simple technique. I'm sure you're aware of it, but when we use it, it makes all the difference in the world. The fourth and last technique is to breathe. So when we need patience and we need help remembering to tune in and pause and call upon patience, remember to breathe. Even listen to how my voice calmed down and lowered after breathing, right? We can't help but feel more calm when we breathe deeply. So remember, patience is a tool that we can all learn. It is something within our grasps. We all have the power within us to tune into it. Now that we're aware of that moment of transition before we respond to what just happened, now that we're aware of that key moment, we can start to call on patience, right? And remember to be patient with yourself as you learn to be more patient and more patient with your kids and your work and your marriage and all of that and this quarantine, right? So that is the insight that I bring to you today. I hope it has been helpful. Every Monday morning at 10 a.m., moms meet on my Facebook Live page. You're welcome to join us. We discuss all types of topics. Patience was a topic that a mom actually requested. She suggested that we talk about, and we were all like, yeah, that sounds good. So please feel free to join us. It's free. I'm here to help to support you. I know it's a trying time. We're in this together. Together we're stronger and saner. So I hope this has been helpful. I wish you all the best. Keep being courageous, moms.